Call the meeting to order. All rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. All members are present. Have the approval of the agenda. We have two changes. 7F and 7G have been taken off the agenda. Is there any other changes, council?
No.
Do I have a motion to approve the agenda with those two changes?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Heidi, second by Diane. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5 in favor, none against. Approval of the minutes of the September 5th, 2018 regular meeting. They're all in your packet. Is there any changes, corrections, clarification? Hearing nothing, do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the September 5th, 2018 meeting?
Motion to approve.
Motion by Dave. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Heidi. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 5 in favor, none against.
No. I was gonna,
Oh, abstain?
Yeah, abstain
Okay.
on that one.
4 in favor, 1 abstention. So now brings us to our public open forum. Is there anyone here that would like to speak to the council?
Excuse me. I need to state my name.
Yes, please.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. My name is Bob Dickhouse. I live in Melrose. Do you want my address? I live at 322 Country Club Road, Melrose, Minnesota.
Thank you.
Again, thank you for the opportunity to speak a little bit tonight. It's great to be here. Really just wanted to say thank you to the citizens of Sauk Center for the support that they provided me during my run for the office of sheriff. Although I was not successful in my bid for sheriff and lost out in the primary, I spent a lot of time with both candidates during the run-up to the primary and realized that I was probably more closely aligned with Chief Dave Bentrude than I was with the other candidate. Our values, our ideas, the ideas and thoughts for the future of the sheriff's office were more closely aligned. And I've decided to lend my full support to Dave Bentrude for the office of Stearns County Sheriff. I've asked my supporters to support Dave Bentrude in that election on November 6th. So thank you. That's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, members of the council staff, my name is Dave Bentrude. I live in Sartell. My address is 1020 4th Street North. And I currently serve as Chief of Police for the City of Wade Park, and I am a candidate for Stearns County Sheriff. And I appreciate the opportunity to stop in. I won't take a lot of time. I know you've got a full agenda. But I just wanted to introduce myself and maybe explain a little bit about why I'm running and how I believe I can be an asset to the city of Sauk Center. I think that one of the things that I noticed in my role as police chief in Wade Park is that we intersect with the sheriff's office in a variety of ways. Obviously, the jail, our comm center dispatching, patrol units, for sure. And as sheriff, I would like to work towards building a more collaborative partnership with the cities and the police agencies that operate within those cities so that we may do some significant things to enhance public safety. I think that collaboration can manifest itself in a couple of key areas. One is technology. I think that we need to look at a different system, one that would allow for us to be able to use data to analyze data and be more effective in directing our patrol units to address specific crime issues. I believe that Stearns County is way too big to be just kind of randomly driving around, that we need to be more strategic. I think that technology can also enhance our ability, and I would work with our local police chiefs empower dispatch to try to get the closest available unit to critical calls where life or death might be at stake, or there could be some type of in-progress type situation. And I believe that we can accomplish those things. I know that our officers on the street, I know that we are in Way Park, we're dealing more and more frequently with individuals who are suffering from mental illness. Our jail is full of individuals who their biggest issue is their mental health. I believe that we need to develop some countywide referral options for those individuals who suffer from mental health issues. It's an officer safety issue, it's a community safety issue, and folks could be better served. The issue of sex trafficking is not just a metro problem. It's affecting not only St. Cloud and Way Park, but also some of our smallest communities within Stearns County. Traffickers are targeting our young women, trying to recruit them into sex trafficking, and we need to come together to address those issues. Another issue that I think we really need to work on is the area of school safety. A lot of police agencies have a school resource officer program, but not all do. And I think it's really important for the sheriff's office to try to work with our local police agencies, be more coordinated in our response to active threat situations, should, God forbid, something like that occur. We all know that if it did, it would be a multi-jurisdictional response that would require some coordination, and I think the only way we can really effectively do that is by training, practicing tabletops, those kinds of things. And I would like to be able to provide or expand our capability to not only work on campus safety for those schools maybe that don't have a resource officer program, but also to be in the classroom talking to our young people about how to be safe, how to avoid being recruited into sex trafficking, how to stay off drugs, all of those kinds of things that are affecting our communities today. And so I just wanted to highlight a couple of things that I'm working on. As far as my background, I grew up in Glenwood, not all that far away, so I'm a small town kid at heart. Spent 16 years with St. Cloud Police Department, the last 10 years as police chief. I got to know Bob when we were in the same law enforcement center back in the day, and I really look to build a more collaborative relationship between the sheriff's office and the local police agencies. I know I'll be in Chief Frederick's office maybe more than he'd want me to, just to make sure that what are we doing, how are we doing, what can we do to help make your job easier as police chief. And in my 10 years, quite frankly, I never really had that. So I look to be able to do those kinds of things as sheriff in Stearns County. And I guess I don't mean to put anybody on the spot, but I guess, and I don't know if you feel comfortable or if you can respond. I know some councils don't want to, but you know, when I've been around and I've talked to a lot of city councils and a lot of town boards, and I guess I would ask if you feel comfortable, and what would you like to see more from the sheriff's office? Are there any specific crime issues or problems that you would like to see given more attention?
I don't think this is the appropriate forum, so
Not?
no.
Okay, fair enough. I respect that as well. So, thank you for your time. I appreciate it very much, and I appreciate your support in November, and I'm very grateful for Bob's support in this effort to bring some reforms to the public safety. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to the council? Is there anyone else that would like to speak to the council? Call a third time. Is there anyone else that would like to speak to the council? Seeing no one else, our public open forum is now closed. We have no public hearings. This brings us to our reports and presentations. Police Department monthly report. Brian?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Activity report for August 2018, some of the numbers we had. We had 14 alarm calls. We did 15 business assists. We did 22 assists for other agencies. We had 42 citizen contacts. We issued 4 citations for small amount of marijuana and drug paraphernalia. We had 2 felony warrant arrests. We had 29 matter of information calls, 19 medical calls, 10 citations for driving without a Minnesota license. We had 14 accidents. We had 66 special detail calls we did. We had 11 welfare checks. And we gave out 317 verbal warnings and we had a total activity for the month of 849 calls. Compare that to July, we were down on calls by 84. Warnings we were up 64, so pretty comparative to July. And when you compare it to 2017, we were up on calls by 17, warnings up by 61, and again, pretty comparable to the 2017 year. So other than that, summer is wrapping up in August, so that's good. That's all I have.
Questions? Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Planning Commission report? Sarah?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In your packet, you have a copy of the agenda. We had our Planning Commission meeting, we kind of changed it to a workshop. So I did not have any public hearings or any action items at that meeting. And so we had discussion about the comp plan and some of the things that we need to be working on. Also, and in that, most of our discussion, we kind of ranked some of the things that Vicki had put in the August 15th City Council packet, and we were kind of wanted to get some input from the council members and the Planning Commission members of what they see as things that they want as a priority that we should be working on as staff and get these public hearings scheduled. Right now, we're going to be working on the storage of recreational vehicles, outdoor storage, impervious surface maximums or minimums, and the number of vehicles allowed to be parked on a residence, and then potentially fences. We want to put 3 important ones to the top and work on those. And the others, we kind of made a deadline to work on those and get those done before spring. But if there's any other items that need to be pushed to the top of the ladder, please let Vicki or myself know. And so we also had a proposed plat that came in. We've had 2 meetings with the Economic Development Authority, and I believe they're in the process of working on a purchase agreement. And that was for the Silver Fir property by the railroad to build some townhomes, 8 total units in that. So that's still kind of in a preliminary stage, but we are working on that. And then you have a copy of my building permit reports. And this year so far, we've had 6 new homes built in our community with a total value of $1.7 million of new construction value just in new homes alone. So that's a really good year for us. So are there any questions?
Questions? Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Airport Board report.
So the airport board met in regular session on Wednesday, September 12th, 2018. They had a few things on their agenda. They did look at the closeout information for the rehab project. We're hoping to get that closeout done and get our reimbursement in from the FAA prior to the end of our fiscal year, which is December 31st, so we can close that project out completely. We did talk about the construction schedule for the entrance road project. They actually have a deadline of, I think, October 31st to get that paved. We're trying to get that done a little bit sooner, so that as well can be closed out prior to the end of the year. We are recommending, they're looking for members for the Joint Airport Zoning Board, and so what that is to update our zoning ordinance out at the airport, which will include a member from the county, the township, the city, and the airport, and then members at large. So I know that Keith right now is on the airport board, but he's leaving the city, so I don't know if somebody else would be interested in serving on that joint airport zoning board to go through the public hearing process, then please let me know about that. We are looking at estimates for some various door repairs to incorporate them all together into a proposed grant with MnDOT Aeronautics that they would share and participate in the repair of those. Most of them are in the T hangar that was built in we call it the 99 T hangar, or the 2000 T hangar. some of the doors and then the insulation and things that are starting to fail and door sleeves. So we're just going to put them all together and make them a project if we can get some participation and get those done. We did discuss how to proceed with that unfinished gravel pit road relocation located to the south end of the airport. And so I think they're going to ramp that up a little bit on how we can get that done. They did look at their 20-year CIP for amendments. Every year we have to update at MnDOT Aeronautics our 20-year capital improvement plan. We don't have a lot of capital improvements out in the near future because we just did a large one, but the one we did talk about the most was refurbishing the turf runway. And so they'll talk about that again at their next meeting prior to deciding what year we should slot that into. We did get some mapping of the new crop restriction lines due to the widened turnaround in the runway, so now we will be working with the farmers who lease property from us at the airport to adjust their acreage, because we can't have them farming within a certain number of feet of the airport. They do have some fee change recommendations to the fee schedule for 2019, and you will see that in December at this meeting. And also the airport planner, the employee of Bolton Mink that worked most closely with us has moved on to another company, so we are now working with the engineer that we have worked with as well. And he said he will be assuming that role for the City of Sauk Center. And then on Thursday, the FAA was up, actually, and this was after the meeting, the FAA came up to the airport and was doing some low approach runway light testing of our runway lights now that you come on and they turn on with radio frequency and off. And so we have to make a few adjustments to that, but they do low approach testing, and that's how they test them. So other than that, airport's rolling along, I guess. If you have any questions?
Questions, comments? Anybody that's interested in serving on the airport board?
On that.
Talk to Vicki.
Yeah.
Okay. Public Works report?
Just a couple of things. There's some things on the Public Works Department. Last time I was here, we had said we had set up with MnDOT to try their equipment and use one of their staff members for some Dura patching, which we were able to schedule in for one day. We got to do it because of their schedule, our schedule, equipment, but we did get a chance to try it, and the jury is still out on that. I think we'll see how it looks, how it holds up over the winter. And then we are looking at replacing the double doors at the arena, the lower double doors that you go in, like to the gun show and everything. They are rusted out, and right now they're very difficult to open and close. As soon as skaters start going in and out those doors, we know there's going to be trouble. So we do have the quotes. I'm reviewing them now, and we'll probably be changing that. The guys have been up at the arena prepping for winter use, a lot of scrubbing down tables, chairs, floors, everything, because they will start putting in ice in October. And they did get the initial draining and the blowing out of the lines at the splash pad, so you'll be seeing them in the parks, blowing out sprinklers. The campground shuts down October 1st, so that'll be coming up. So there's just a lot of that fall maintenance, getting ready for winter that's going on. They have been working on street signs, getting them ready for putting in about on the new project. And they did get the salt sand building cleaned out. All the residual salt sand has been mixed and moved aside, so we're prepping for our 140 tons that'll be coming in the next coming weeks. And of course, the street sweeping, tree trimming, those things are just ongoing all the time. We have turned the compost pile, so we'll be hauling a lot of that out. We do have a farmer that's taking some of that because it's getting too much there, and so they'll be taking that out of there and cleaning that up for the winter. You probably noticed flower baskets are gone, flowers, just all that kind of winter, fall thing is going on. We did have a second repair of storm sewer on Lincoln Loop. This is the third storm sewer pipe that has separated on that project that was done in the 70s. So I'm assuming we're just going to camera some more of those lines just to make sure, but that's something that we could possibly be seeing happening. Other than that, just your equipment repairs. We did get our 99 plow truck back from Maney's, and it's back on the road. So they're just ramping up for winter. I hate to say it, but it'll come sooner. And they're looking forward to October 1st with the new public works supervisor starts employment with the city. So.
Okay. Any questions, comments? I haven't heard any bad news, so it must be going fairly good, so. Good job, Vicki.
No news
Yes.
is good news, right?
That's right, no news is good news. We'll now move on to our action items. Approve Resolution 2018-73, adopting the 2019 preliminary budget.
And we did have that updated budget incorporating the changes that was emailed out to everybody, and that was just the updates that you guys made at the preliminary meeting. And this budget reflects those changes, and then I do have it broke down in the resolution as by department and by fund. The only thing on the resolution, it's actually the 2019 revenue budget that also would be adopted at the end of that. So what we're looking for tonight is to adopt Resolution 2018-73, adopting the preliminary budget for 2019, and then we would expect further changes to occur as we streamline it getting into December, and that's when you would take your final budget.
Questions? Comments? Do I have a motion to approve Resolution 2018-73, adopting preliminary 2019 budget?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Diane, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any other questions? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7B, approve resolution 2018-74, adopting 2019 preliminary levy.
And this is the, like you said, the preliminary levy, and what that reflects is you had agreed on a 2.8% overgrowth that we were proposing to be sent out. Then this would send out in notices to all the property owners within the community to see what that impact will be. Part of it is for the new fund that is set up for the payment of the bond for the 2018 improvement projects, and then part of it is in the general fund to cover increased costs of the general fund. So the overall total 2018 levy, which would be collectible in 2019, is $1,834,924, and so that is resolution 2018-74.
Questions? Do I have a motion to approve resolution number 2018-74, adopting the preliminary tax levy collectible in 2019?
So moved.
Motion by Heidi, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave.
Yeah.
Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approve resolution 2018-75, authorizing purchase of Ford Interceptor.
Our 2019 budget, we were looking to replace our Ford utility Interceptor. It's currently the K9 unit. The state bid price, which is through the CPV, or Cooperative Purchasing Venture, for a 2019 vehicle, if ordered before September 21st, which is Friday, is $29,904.45. That bid price is expected to raise between $3,000 and $5,000 after that date. The state bid vendor for the vehicle is Ford of Hibbing, and so Chief Fredericks also secured a bid from John Weiss Ford locally here in Sauk Center for a vehicle equipped with the same features, and the proposed bid is $30,596. So we're about $600 different after the government discount. A trade-in is going to further reduce those costs on either side. That amount is currently unknown because the date of delivery will not occur until 2019, and the current vehicle is subject to depreciation, wear and tear, so we don't really have a trade-in price secure yet. So we're recommending that we authorize us to secure an order for the 2019 through John Weiss Ford, noting that the additional cost is offset by savings, that we don't have to pay wages and mileage to go up to Hibbing to pick up a vehicle. I want to give you a side note. Today we were notified that even by ordering by Friday, the deadline may not be guaranteed at 2019. So if that changes, we'll be back here. But for now, we would like the authority to go ahead and put ourselves on order, put on order a 2019 Ford Interceptor. And that is Resolution 2018-75. And that does recommend purchasing from John Weiss Ford of Sauk Center.
Questions?
I don't suppose that if we're in line for the other vehicle, I don't suppose that price will be the same, will it?
If we are not able to get a 2019, it would be my guess that the 2020 will be more, and
It'll be
then we'll have
higher.
to be back here for a new resolution.
Okay,
But this at least allows him to try for it.
sure. No.
Any other comments, questions? Everyone understands that the recommendation is to go with John Weiss Ford?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 2018-75, authorizing purchase of Ford Interceptor?
So moved.
A motion by Keith, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Any other comments or concerns? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Approved planning commission appointment.
We do have a nomination form for the planning commissioner appointment, has been received from Linda Reagan. She lives up at 321 North Elm Street in Sauk Center. And this is to fill the unexpired term of Mark Magnuson, which is through December 31st of 2019. And I did include in your packet a copy of her request. And so the action tonight is to consider the appointment of Linda Reagan to the planning commission.
Comments?
I know Linda Reagan, and I do recommend her. She's a good person. Used to run a Dairy Queen at one time, too.
Any other comments or concerns? Okay, do I have a motion to appoint Linda Reagan to the planning commission?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Diane, do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
second that.
Second by Dave. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, motion carries 5 in favor, none against. 7E, consider revocation of liquor license.
The city received notice that liquor liability insurance for the Mexican restaurant here in town was canceled in August. Then we got a new one, it was reinstated, it'll be canceled in September. In addition to that, the payment for the license to the city in July was returned insufficient. We've been trying to secure those funds, and we have not been able to do so. So we did send a certified letter out to them requesting this new proof of insurance be submitted, and we haven't received anything back. In a situation like this, the license holder he can have a public hearing in order to come and address the council, and I guess what I'm looking for tonight is, I don't know how long we want to let this go until we secure the funding for the license and make sure that that insurance is okay. And so if the city council is thinking they need to investigate that further, then we should set a date and a hearing where he can come in and address the council. And perhaps, maybe by then he'll have paid the funds, come up with the funds, got the insurance. That's what happened last time we set a hearing. They actually came through with everything, so it might be wise for the council because of, to keep any liability from being back on the city by having a license holder out there, that their insurance lapses, at least you're doing your due diligence to investigate. So I'm kind of looking for a hearing, whether it's at the next meeting or the following meeting, either one doesn't really matter.
Do you need to have a public hearing, or can we
It's not
just?
necessarily a public hearing, maybe I used the wrong, it's an opportunity for him to come in a public format and address the council as a whole.
Okay,
Well,
Is that a
everybody
sti-
has that option anyway, so
he has that option whether we,
whether we grant it or not, he still
Right.
has that option, so.
right, he can do that, even if we would rescind it immediately tonight.
Well,
But
But to rescind it, we have to give him notice, so we would still have to do that.
Okay,
we've only got 3 days before it's canceled. Correct.
Right now, we do, yeah.
Yeah.
you know, it's,
I mean, I certainly think that a notice of revocation is appropriate. We
Definitely,
haven't been paid
definitely.
for it, apparently he doesn't have insurance either, so.
right, and a certified letter that's been sent out 2 weeks ago
Yep.
Yep.
hasn't been answered. Isn't like we haven't done our share of trying to help them get the problem corrected.
So we can send him a notice of revocation, and then he would have the opportunity to appeal that.
Right, and I would say the next council meeting at the most.
Yep.
At the most,
What-
yep.
Yep.
My biggest question, what happens if something happens prior to our next council meeting?
Didn't we put a temporary hold on a previous bar owner that this happened to a few
We
years
gave
back?
him, we gave him a date. We gave him a drop dead date to have the insurance back to us, and then they brought it in that day, so then it worked. I mean, it was after the expiration date,
Yeah,
but because we're acting on it, yeah, nothing happened in that situation, but we can't just go in there and tell him you're closed down tomorrow either, because he's got rights as well.
Right,
Well,
okay,
And I can tell him
the
that
next
you'll,
council meeting is fine, that's early in October.
that's early in
But
October.
2 weeks from now,
that's
yep.
And that's another
and-
2
2 and
weeks.
some
that
odd
they'd
days,
be-
so.
But Keith does have a point, you know, if something
Yeah,
liability to the city.
22nd to the October, what, 8th, or is that our next one?
The
What happened?
October,
and that's a liability to him, not to us.
Would it be?
Right, yes. Because you're already acting on it, so
We're acting on it tonight, so it would be
Yeah.
more or less be okay.
you're basically doing your due diligence tonight.
Okay, well, I can live with that then.
Okay.
Because October 3rd would be the next council meeting.
Yep.
Third.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I can live with that.
Okay. Do you want a motion in that or just general consensus?
You need general consent.
Okay, we all in
Yep.
agreement?
Yep.
Okay. 7F and G have been scratched. 7H, approved participation in Stearns County project Ferry Lake Road, 2nd Street North, or South.
2 times in the city's history, we've tried to correct the stormwater runoff at the intersection of Ferry Lake Road and 2nd Street South. So coming down 2nd Street, it's a hill. So it comes down, it crosses Ferry Lake Road. The curb doesn't go all the way through there, so it washes out, it brings a bunch of sand and everything out onto the road. Because the county is reconstructing Ferry Lake Road next year, they are looking to install some storm structures and try to capture that water, extend the curb a little bit, put some structures, and pipe the water, and then connect into our existing storm system. Right now, we take it in the ditch, it goes both directions, it crosses 2nd Street, comes back around. And so basically, what they would be doing is collecting it right on the road instead of in the ditch, and trying to alleviate that sand that's washing out on the road. And so what the county is asking is for the city's participation in collecting that city water that's coming down the city street. And I told them I'd bring it to the council and see if the council was interested in some participation, if that would further the project, or are they going to do the project anyway? So he said, well, if some type of participation or interest in participating would go a long way toward getting the county to make these corrections. And so I don't know that I have a specific dollar amount right now. I'm just kind of looking for consensus from the council that you would even consider some type of participation in it. And then I can go back to them and we can tie it to something. Are we going to buy the pipe, or are we going to pay a flat dollar amount, or what are they looking for? But I didn't want to get into that detail if the council didn't want to even consider it.
Concerns? Questions? I personally don't see a problem with at least looking at working with the county on this.
Yep.
I don't either. I hate to commit unless we have a
Dollar figure.
dollar
Yeah.
value, though.
And that's basically what it would be. They're gonna have to come back and give us their plans and tell us what the actual dollar amount they expect, they would like us to participate in, rather than just
Yep.
give us a piece of paper and say, here, this is
Right.
what our,
Yeah, and they haven't bid it out yet.
right,
You know, they're just in the preliminary design of it.
Yeah,
So-
it does need to be done, so, yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
And I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure the project's gonna happen whether we participate or not, but in good faith of the city, considering it is our
The
water.
Ferry Lake
Yeah.
Road will happen.
Oh, yeah.
Will they collect our stormwater? I don't know,
Right,
so.
right, so,
I'll just work on it a little more with them and see if we can come up with some more specifics for you to act on.
15, $20, you know.
$15, $20?
We'll take
Okay.
up a collection,
okay, is general consensus then? Okay.
Sure.
yeah.
All right. 7I, request for reimbursement of towing invoice.
Ann Jadowski from Melrose is requesting that the city reimburse her for costs incurred when her vehicle was towed in Sauk Center. This was during the seal coating project that we had, where they seal coated and then they came back and fog coated. That was, like I said, that was a 2-part project. First, the granite was applied to the streets. Following that, an oil fog was sprayed over the granite. And prior to each step, the streets were cleared of all parked cars. We placed no parking signs the day before along the roadway. There were little signs on lath up and down behind the curb in the boulevard. And then here where it's on the, where there was concrete sidewalk right next to the boulevard, they were taped to the street lights. And Ms. Jazowski said she had parked on 4th Street, which is right over here, come off of Main, across from the post office on 4th Street, and she didn't see the no parking sign. She said it was too high up the light post that she didn't see it there. And we had made attempts to locate the owner of it by going into the businesses. They did not end up locating her. She was, I guess, in Eyes on Main. And so we ended up towing the car because the oil was coming. And so then the towing company did discount it to $100, and she's asking that the city pay her that amount because of the signing. She felt the signing was too high up the pole, that she couldn't see it when she pulled her car in. So that is the request tonight, is to either approve or deny the request for reimbursement of the towing costs in the amount of $100.
Isn't there a minimum for signage?
Well, if you mean like how high?
Yeah.
If we were putting like a street sign, like a permanent
That's
no
gonna
parking, that's got to be
stay there.
7 feet up, but this is a temporary paper one, that's not really governed by that.
Okay.
Any other questions?
I don't know, even if they were signs that were at that height, permanent signs, you always notice them. Why wouldn't you notice a sign being at the same height that was temporary?
Well, she's here tonight if you want to ask her questions.
Okay, why wouldn't you notice that one? Why didn't I notice it? Well, you've got signs that, crosswalk signs, stop signs, no parking signs that are, I believe, a minimum of 7 feet, Vicki? Mm-hmm. So you notice those, why wouldn't you notice a no
Yes.
parking one at that same height?
I didn't look up that high. My eyes only go up, I'm looking for a street sign, for one thing.
Which is at 7 feet.
Yeah, if I'm looking for a location. But I believe that those signs should be eye level. I'm from
But
the
the street
community.
signs are at 7 feet.
Yes, I'm expecting a sign. It's large. This appeared to be a 9 by 11 green piece of paper. And I only noticed it when I went down to the police station, and I had to look up to see it. I'm 5'7", so I still looked up to see it. So it was not visually open to me. I came to town early. I had 2 appointments. One was at 8:45, and I got to the 4th Street about 10 after 9. So I had a small period of time. I went to Geierman's, then I went back to Dr. Freeze. Came out, my car was gone. And was only then, as I walked toward the station, that I noticed there was something tacked there. I have a visual problem. For one thing, it would be blurry. I cannot make out your names on the ledge over there. It's all blurry for me. So I go to Dr. Freeze, he's a specialist, and I had an appointment that day, but I still never saw that little green, it appeared to be a small sign, 9 by 11.
Okay.
In Melrose, they have what they call horses, the wooden horses, signs in the center that tell you no parking, sidewalk closed. We're doing all kinds of construction right now, and it's all eye level. And
Okay.
that's what I believe should have happened here. And I
Thank you.
think the city ought to take some responsibility about being able for everybody to see that as you're driving, not having to look up. It
Okay.
was early in the morning, and there was no cars parked there, and I thought, Okay.
Not to cut you off, but we've got a decision we're gonna have to make. Thank you. Is there anybody else that has any comments?
So what kind of a sign was up? It was taped to the street light?
Yeah, it was a temporary no parking sign.
Okay,
They're like this size. And they
okay.
were, I think, lime green.
And
And then they were all the way down, all the way from Main Street, all the way to Walnut. But the ones that were on this end were on the street lights versus the other ones were on Lath.
Right.
Because you could count them into the ground behind the boulevards, but where the sidewalk was there, we put them on the street lights.
How far apart? How many signs were out?
I don't know, I think there was 2 on that block, on that side of the road.
Okay.
I did check with Chief Fredericks, and he did say that they sent the officers down to the different businesses and tried to locate who owned the car, but they never did find out.
one of the things that, is it the company that did the seal coating, or they're the ones that put the signs up? Because a lot of times it's,
On the seal
Or
coating
is-
project, they put them up, but then we went back and checked them, so it was kind of a collaborative between the Public Works Department and the and the
Okay.
company, Aztec.
Okay. One of the things that I thought was unusual is considering the amount of blocks of seal coat that we did do and everything was marked. This is the one and only car that got towed,
That was going to be my same comment as well.
you know, so,
Well, they
And one
did
of
go
the-
and they did, we used, the police were great. They were running plates for us to try to help us locate everybody. But this,
Right.
you know, if it was against a residential, you go, oh, that's that house, but it was a commercial and that's why they went into the different businesses.
right, so,
I can't say for sure if they made it all the way down to Geierman's.
right.
I'm wondering, so how many plates had to be run? How many people had to be contacted to move their cars?
During the FRO project, I think we probably had to talk to maybe half a dozen people.
Okay,
Because most of them just, they didn't park there.
okay. Well, that's, I mean, it's not that nobody parked there,
Right.
but they were able to be located.
And on that, for where, the street that she was on, she was the only car.
Yeah.
Well, what's the council's wishes? Do we approve or deny the request for reimbursement of the towing costs?
Let me ask a question on that.
Yes.
Now, if we approve the request to reimburse and for the towing, who pays it? The tow truck company still has to be paid. So would that fall on the taxpayers, or would that just disappear?
No,
Well, it would be
she
paid
already
on-
paid the tow company in order to get her car.
Oh, okay,
She's
okay.
asking
I
us
did
to
not
pay her,
understand
and yes,
that.
it would just be
Okay,
taxpayers.
Okay.
Right. One of the things is like, you know, when we have snow emergencies, we told people on there and
Yeah.
we automatically tow them and there's no retribution on any of that as far as giving them money back because we didn't locate them or we couldn't wake them up at 2 in the morning when their car should have been off the street. So it kind of falls back to ignorance isn't an excuse. Not saying that that's the reason, but any point in time, you know, if you know the rules and the regs and anything comes up and you don't abide by it,
Yeah, I wish I saw the signs.
you know.
Because to me, it's kind of like a sign taped to a street sign. Well, I see garage sale signs up like that, and if it's a neon green piece of paper,
And
I'm
I
not
drove,
necessarily going to think anything but a
yeah,
garage sale.
because here at 7:30 in the morning, when I stop here every morning and I turned and they were already up and it's the first thing that caught my eye when I came around the corner. So, and I, just every street that we did, you know, they weren't that hard to miss.
Yeah.
And they were actually lower than what a normal street sign would be. So, what's the council's wishes? Do I have a motion to approve or deny the request for reimbursement of the towing costs?
Unfortunately, I'm going to move to deny the
Okay.
request for reimbursement.
We have a motion by Heidi to deny. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll second it. I'll second it. Is there any other discussion? Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Thank you. 7J, approve pay request number 4, Brightbach Construction.
You have in your packet, this is the fourth time that we have paid Breitbach for the 2018, the North End Improvement Project. A value completed to date as of this pay request was $1,270,509.78, of which we have paid out $738,683.36, and there's a retainage of $63,525.49. So doing the math, we owe them $468,300.93. So 468,300.93. And so that is our request, is to approve that pay request number 4.
Questions, concerns? Do I have a motion to approve pay request number 4 for $468,300.93?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Diane, do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Unfinished business, Red Schoolhouse relocation.
I say, we're scheduling a meeting with the committee for the Fair Board. I think I told you that they had created a committee and they wanted to meet with us, and Dave has volunteered to serve on that behalf of the city, but I'm wondering if there'd be a second council member that would be wishing to meet with the Fair Board, because they're going to have a committee of 3 or 4. And so we won't want to be totally lopsided when we go in and discuss the Little Red Schoolhouse at the fairgrounds.
You
I'll volunteer. I'm on the park board anyway, if that's
Okay,
all right.
Diane, thank you.
Okay, that's fine. Okay. Eight B, ballot referendum promotion.
So with the upcoming referendum on the ballot for the local option sales tax, we're requesting that 2 councilpersons participate in developing a promotion plan and also meeting with groups and individuals to help explain and promote the referendum. So if somebody has some spare time where they can attend some of these community meetings and answer questions and that type of thing, I'm just trying to look to see who I can tap for that purpose. And I'll kind of be setting up meetings and times and dates, and we can all share in that. Or if somebody wants to take the lead on it, I certainly would appreciate that as well.
You can
So,
count me in on that.
Warren?
I'd like to as well.
Okay. All right, thank you.
8C, capital improvement project update. Keith?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Well, updates on both of the projects. Start with the North End. North End project continues to be on schedule and is progressing well and is going to be completed on time. Right now, they're working on some final concrete work, sidewalks, aprons, those kinds of things in that 4th, 5th Street and the south part of Oak, and there's a few miscellaneous little ped ramps and things to be put in, a couple on Main Street and those kinds of things. So that's kind of been working on. Next week, they'll be starting to do the final grading on the road, getting that ready for paving, and we may see paving perhaps as early as the end of next week or very early the following week. So kind of by not the end of next week, but the following week, things should be pretty well complete, other than at that point, it's just topsoil, seeding, those kinds of things will be all that will remain. And that should take maybe another week and should be buttoned up and done for 2018. So any questions on that project?
Questions on the north end?
I guess, I was just wondering, I guess the snow melt system was sliced into at the hospital. Has there been any repair to that?
I'm aware that that break occurred. I know that we're talking and looking at getting that fixed. I can't tell you right here at the moment what the schedule is on that, but I know that that is on our list to get taken care of.
Okay. Prior to the,
Prior to snow, it'll be done, it'll be done, really, it'll have to be
Not that I
done.
care
It'll have to be done in the next couple weeks, essentially. So it should be well before, unless we get a really, really early winter, it should be done.
Okay.
okay. Thank you, Keith.
Getty Street?
Thank you.
Getty Street, I'd like to say that one's going as well. Unfortunately, it is not. Last time I was here, I'd say we're about a week and a half behind from what they said they were before. Still completing, they just completed some concrete work today, and they're getting ready to finish that concrete work. So it's going a little slow. There will be some, I'll just leave it as official correspondence going out to them tomorrow morning, expressing our concerns and to figure out how that's going to get completed. Really, there's not that much left. We just need to get them to get to it and get it done.
It seemed like it was at a standstill because the
Yep.
dirt on both sides of the road hasn't been leveled out.
Yep.
And I know the curb's been there for a while, so.
Yes, and that can be done, and that's, they're not being as expeditious as we would like. Hence,
Okay.
we will be cracking the whip a little bit.
Is that because of the subcontractor or is that the main contractor?
Well, ultimately, it's the general responsibility, so I think we'll have to leave it with them. It's their responsibility to get it complete and manage their subs, so.
Okay.
So we'll be working on getting that complete. I'm not concerned that it'll get done, but it should have been done by now already.
Right. And then the tar and everything will be,
Yeah, that should be done, I would think, end of next weekish, or roughly the same time frame as the other. End of next week, early the following, because the last bit of curb, that'll take about 5 days of curing before they can pave. So maybe the end of next week at the earliest, I would think.
Okay.
So any questions on that one?
There was a question asked of me by one of the property owners regarding if there'd be like any sort of backfill or landscaping of property removed. I guess there's a safety concern close to, it'd be the hotel where it just kind of drops off. And she's asked the company what they're going to do about it and hasn't really gotten a clear response.
I assume you're talking about the area like between the curb and kind of where it was cut, is that,
Yep.
yeah? They'll all get blended back in and graded and
Also
such.
between the driveway and the building, there's just kind of
Yep.
a big area that's dead.
All that will get taken care of. That's kind of sort of the next step after they
Okay.
get they'll start doing the driveways and getting all that blended back together. So that will all be taken care of. It's just kind of in process at the moment for that. Maybe the last thing is the final assessments for both projects have been completed, returned to the city, and are in the process of being sent out. Maybe they already have, but they will be sent out for those. So we'll be prepared for the assessment hearings coming up.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Keith.
Thanks, Keith.
8D, dog park update.
Just kind of a little bit, you keep seeing a little bit of money trickling in for the dog park, so the funds raised to date and existing materials on hand, we can begin it. The Public Works crew did make attempts to put the posts in the ground at the proposed location across from Public Works garage, found a lot of debris and concrete underneath the surface there, which we kind of thought maybe would be buried over there. It was stuff that happened before the city ever owned that land, so we're not sure what's under there yet. And so because of that, it'd be difficult to locate the posts at equal intervals. And so now we're looking back at the river side again to see whether we would put it over on the river and just kind of tuck it back in there kind of behind the well, back in that area. And so we're just asking us to further develop either location, whichever one, because we don't want to keep bouncing back and forth. We want to revisit the river location and see if that's better, and if not, we'll try to stay where we are. But what we just want to be looking at, and what we're thinking about doing, is just having with our materials on hand from old fencing that the city has had, is our staff would go in and set that first line, and that would be the baseline for beginning it, and then the city would be the one to say, this is where it's going to go, this is where the property line, this is how long it's going to be, and this is where it's going to be started to be located. And that way, when we start working with volunteers, they have something very specific to work off from. So this is just kind of more of a, let us go back and look at the river again. We started at the river, we went across the street, now we're back to the river. Not sure which one's going to be right, but we just want to be able to feel free to be able to develop either one, and whichever one works out best, both with materials, installation, and everything, so.
Okay. Council's
That's just a
fine
general
with that?
Yeah.
move forward.
Okay. Move on to new business ordinance, updating tobacco ordinance.
Just with e-cigarettes and that vaping and all of that coming into play, and then Minnesota laws changed regarding its use. So we kind of need to review our tobacco ordinance. Last time we looked at it was 1998. So we've got some updated language, updated statutes, and we're kind of formulating a draft, and we're just going to be sending that out to the policy committee with your blessing, and get that back to the city council in the next couple meetings, probably not the one with all the public hearings, maybe the one after that, and kind of get that updated and back in compliance with state statute.
Questions? Okay. Moves us to our consent agenda. We have schedule of claims, unpaid claims of $93,426.42 for a total of the same amount. August checks, paid claims / payroll of $1,504,358.08. We have resolution number 2018-78, accepting contributions of $1,767.75 from anonymous donators to be allocated to the dog park, $100 from Central Minnesota Credit Union to be allocated to the dog park, and $1,000 from Community Connections to be allocated to the ambulance department. And on behalf of the city and the council, I would like to thank those people for their donations. That is the end of the consent. Is there anything on the consent calendar that anyone has questions about? Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar as presented?
So moved.
Motion by Keith, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Dave. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Informational items,
Just informational items, I think I sent this out to you in email, that MnDOT is going to be performing a mill and overlay of the middle 24 feet from down by Holiday all the way through town. And so this is a maintenance project, and they're hoping that'll last until the reconstruction of 2024. So when you see the signs and the trucks coming in, this is a maintenance project for MnDOT. It's not the city, but appreciate everybody's patience while they're working through that. And the other informational item is the community garden project that was down by the outdoor rink. It's wrapping up for the season. The committee did receive another grant for $5,000, and they'll be having a, September 26th, they'll be receiving that. And then they're going to be making plans for next year. So I've asked them to come in and give you an update, what worked, what didn't work, how much expansion they hope to do next year, and whether they want to get into the next phase of people can actually have their own plot versus a community plot. So that was kind of a good first test season, and they did give away a lot of vegetables, so it worked out very well, and we really thank them, the volunteers, for their work at that. So, and that is all I have.
okay. Council have anything else for informational? Okay, that brings us to our end of our agenda. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion by Dave, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Diane. Call the question, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5 in favor, none against. Meeting adjourned.